All right, so there are a ton of gurus and self-proclaimed experts out there talking about church growth and social media and the next great tactic that's going to help you reach 1 million people. But at the end of the day, church growth comes down to one thing. And in this video, we're going to explore that along with a couple of principles that can help you to reach more people inside of your city, lead with a ministry-first strategy, and ultimately reach more people for Jesus. So let's dive into the #1 overlooked secret to church growth coming up. Hey, what's up, y'all? My name is Chris Abbott, but all my friends just call me Abbo. And in this video, we're going to be exploring some different church growth principles, and we're going to be talking about the #1 overlooked secret to church growth. But I want to address all of the gurus and the self-proclaimed church growth experts out there, right? With the internet, anybody with a smartphone can basically start a business and call themselves an expert. I think it's important to understand that, man, the church right now is perfectly equipped to reach a world that doesn't exist anymore. There's too many churches that are using pre-pandemic methods to reach a post-pandemic world. But it's hard to figure out who to listen to and what to focus on and, what the right tactics are. So what I wanted to do in this video is let's focus on some of the principles. And specifically, I want to talk about what Rick Warren says is the #1 most overlooked principle in church growth. So check out this quote. The most overlooked principle for church growth is we have to love people the way Jesus did. That's it. The motive behind everything we've done at Saddleback is that we love and care about lost people. The reason Jesus attracted such large crowds is because he loved people. To reach unbelievers, you have to move outside your own comfort zone and do things that often feel awkward and uncomfortable to you. It takes unselfish people to grow a church. Lost people have a lot of problems and their lives are messy. It's not by accident that Jesus compared evangelism to fishing. Fishing is often messy and smelly. So many churches want the fish they catch to be pre-scaled, gutted, cleaned, and cooked. That's why they never reach anyone. If your church is serious about reaching the unchurched, you must be willing to put up with people who have a lot of problems. Okay, I love this because I think Pastor Rick is actually tapping into a principle and a truth that not too many people are actually talking about. So I've had the opportunity to work with over 2,000 churches in the last 7 years. And unfortunately, there are a lot of churches out there who are trying to reach people just like them. And a lot of them are trying to reach other Christians, right? It's kind of sad. There's even plenty of churches out there who believe that church is for believers, right? But what Pastor Rick is tapping into is the same thing that Jesus did, right? That he was just focused on people, right? Why is it that prostitutes and sinners and tax collectors, why is it that they flock to Jesus, right? It's because he made them feel comfortable. It's because he loved them unconditionally, right? And I think this is something that the church has kind of lost sight of over the years. So I love that Rick Warren brings this up and kind of brings this to our attention, right? Like, ministry is messy. And if you guys have ever had a lot of lost people start coming into your church and a lot of unchurched people, right? Those guys are raw, man. Like, they're coming out of things. Some of them are just coming straight off the streets. Some of them are coming out of drug addictions or alcohol addictions, right? And it can be a really, really crazy thing. So I had a roommate one time who had a drinking problem, and I realized that he drank, but I didn't know how bad it was until we actually lived together. And so this guy would get so blind drunk every single time he went out drinking that he would come back, he didn't know where he was slurring his speech, he couldn't talk straight, right? I'd literally have to lay him down into bed and tuck him in and take his shoes off and everything, and it was it's like taking care of a child. And so every night whenever this would happen, he would wake up in the middle of the night and he would just urinate all over the kitchen. This was a really small apartment, it was like 500 square feet studio apartment, right? And so he'd literally walk into the kitchen and he would just urinate all over the countertops, the dishes, the cabinets, the floor, everything, right? Basically everything with the bathroom. And then he'd go back to bed. It was one of those things, living with someone who's going through something like that, right? Who doesn't love God can be really tough because I'd have to get up every single night and have to get on my hands and knees and wipe everything up and clean up after someone else. And so after about the 7th or 8th time that this happened, I just said, you know what? If this happens again, I'm out of here. Like, I'm moving out, I'm leaving. Like, I don't have to deal with this every single night. And so sure enough, 2 nights later, it happened again. And I'm on my hands and knees. I'm in the kitchen at 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm wiping up everything. And I was like, okay, tomorrow I'm out. Tomorrow I'm leaving. I'm just going to tell him I'm gone, right? And the Holy Spirit spoke to me in that moment and he said, no, you will not. He said, if he gets up every single night and urinates all over the kitchen, then every single night you will get down and you will clean it up and you will serve him like I serve the church. And I'm telling you, everything in me flipped. Everything changed. And I just said, oh my gosh, right? When you're on your hands and knees cleaning up someone else's addiction, things get real fast. right? And so what happened is I ended up living there for 6 months. And I remember every single night that happened, my heart flipped. And so it still continued to happen. I still continued to have to clean everything up. But I would literally be sitting there worshiping and thanking God for the opportunity to serve someone else as they were going through an addiction and they were going through stuff. So I've literally been praying for that guy for 26 years. And 4 months ago, I led him to the Lord. Can you imagine that happened? That was 15 years ago that we were living together. I've been praying for him since I got saved when I was 13. And 4 months ago, I led him to the Lord. I'm telling you, man, ministry's messy. And when you're trying to reach the unchurched and you're trying to reach the lost, man, it's not clean. It's not cookie cutter. It's messy. But like Pastor Rick says, man, that's the heart of Jesus. All right, so before I get to my last couple of points here, man, would you share this video with somebody that needs to hear it, right? If you have a pastor or a church leader or a friend that just needs to be reminded about why we do what we do, would you share this video with them? I think oftentimes we can get caught up in doing all of the ministry and doing so many things that we kind of forget why it is that we got into ministry in the first place. And hopefully this video could be a reminder to you and to someone you care about. So one of my favorite quotes from Mark Batterson is that Jesus didn't die to keep us safe. He died to make us dangerous. Man, I love this because I think it's important to remember that, man, we need to live dangerous lives, right? We need to be dangerous to the enemy. Man, we need to pray dangerous prayers. We need to dream dangerous dreams, right? Man, what would it look like if we just decided like, okay, I'm going to go all in on just helping people in my city, regardless of whether or not they ever set foot in my church, right? If we just went back to our roots of ministry. I mean, that's what Jesus did, right? He traveled around to the towns. He laid hands on people. He healed people. He prayed for people, right? But he wasn't looking for anything in return. He was just serving people. But because of that, the crowds flocked to him. Sinners flocked to him and lives were changed, and he completely turned the world upside down. And what if we decided to do the same thing in our churches? Could you start a street evangelism team to just go out and pray for people that need prayer? Could you serve your community maybe once or twice a month by just taking a team of people and going into some neighborhoods and just cleaning up the neighborhood, cleaning up trash, taking trash out, maybe doing projects for people that either can't afford or are too old to do them themselves, right? But just serving a community. Could you go to the local hospitals and pray for the sick? Could you put together gift baskets for some kids who are in the hospital, or maybe for their parents who are going through some stuff? Man, I saw a picture the other day, a 4-year-old boy in a diaper who was going through chemo, right? And his 5-year-old sister was comforting him. That family lives within driving distance of someone's church. Man, did they know that that's going on? Like, what do those parents need right now? What do those kids need right now? Man, that kind of stuff is happening in our cities. That kind of stuff is happening within driving distance of your church. How can you find those families and serve them and ask nothing in return? Man, that's how we can be Jesus to this generation. This is how we can change our cities. And this is how we can reach people that no one else is reaching. Okay, so if you like this video and you want to continue this conversation, these are the types of things that we're talking about all the time inside of the Church Marketers Facebook group. So you can click on the link in the description below, or you can simply go to Facebook and type in Church Marketers. But I'm one of the admins in that group, along with Ryan Wakefield and some really incredible church leaders and pastors, the rest of the CMU team, right? And we're talking about these types of things, especially this idea of doing ministry first and leading with ministry in our communities. And we're talking about that all the time inside the group. So make sure to jump into that Facebook group and introduce yourself. I'd love to meet you.